Mrs. Painter. Welcome to my kitchen. Just got done picking a bunch of eggplants today, so we're actually going to be doing a few different videos on eggplants. And the first video I want to do is stuffed eggplants, one of my favorite ways to make this. So to get started, let's turn this around so you can see my work surface. Let's pick one of our nicer ones and go ahead and get the green part off. Go. And let's cut this in half. And we're going to want to take out the inside of the eggplant, and I'm just going to score around the edge. We're going to leave about a ½ inch around the edge. We're going to be taking the inside out of the eggplant. We're going to bake the shell of the eggplant while we make our filling. And I'm going to try scooping this out with a metal spoon. It's got an edge on it. I think that'll make it a little bit easier. Go ahead and score this one also. Let's go ahead and preheat our oven. We're going to use the little oven so we don't heat up the whole house. Let's put it on 400. All right, and we'll go ahead and start. This is really easy to make and a great way to use up some of that eggplant if you happen to live in a warm climate like we do, where it volunteers. Okay, so let's see if we can get some of this out. Oh yeah, this works really good. In fact, you probably almost didn't need to score it, but I like to do that. I think it makes it easier to avoid compromising the outside edge that you're leaving as a baking cup. So you probably could use a melon baller for the same purpose. I'm going to cut this a little bit with the knife. There we go. Just around the very top to make it a little easier to get it out. And it doesn't really matter what it looks like, the part that you're taking out, because we're going to chop that up anyway. It's going to go into our stuffing. Oh, almost got this one. And this actually freezes really well. So I think what I might do is do this larger eggplant, or I guess compared to what you're going to buy in the store, this is a small to medium eggplant, but it's larger for what I can grow here. So what I might do actually is go ahead and do another smaller one so we can taste it when we're done. I think that might be nice. Just cooking for 2 people, which most of the time that's the case here with myself and Mr. Painter. It's nice to have these little Pyrex dishes that have snap-on lids. It's a convenient size for cooking for a smaller amount of people, and also for, say, cooking something ahead and freezing it in the freezer, which is what I'm planning to do today. All right, our oven is up to temperature. We're not quite ready yet, but that's okay. It'll be ready for us. So you can see it doesn't have to be fancy. It's just scooping it out. So we'll put these in this baking dish here. And let's go ahead and get a smaller one. And this one looks a little rough. It's a little overripe, but it will still work. It doesn't matter. This way we can have an appetizer sample. This actually comes out pretty easy. All right, so we have two more little ones that we're going to use for samplers. I'm going to add those to the pan, and we're going to go ahead and brush our eggplant shells with some olive oil. So let's just go ahead and add a little olive oil in here. Let's put a little bit in one of them. Let's go ahead and do the outside edge too, so it doesn't stick. Might not stick, but we don't want it to stick. Do the same thing to this one here, these. This is just a light coating here. And now we're going to go ahead and put just the slightest amount of crushed pepper, freshly ground, inside of all of them. And just a little bit of our Himalayan sea salt. And we're going to go ahead and put these in the oven for 20 to 30 minutes, just until they're tender when pricked. I have just enough room for both of these to go in. Set our timer. There we go. Set it for 20 minutes. And while that cooks, we're going to go ahead and chop up our eggplant. And I have all the other ingredients prepped. Let's go ahead and chop this up. For our stuffing. If you have a favorite dish that's prepared with eggplant, I'd love to hear about it. I'm planning to make probably 3 different things with the eggplants that we harvested. But if you have a favorite, I would love to hear what that is. Let me know in the comments. Just roughly chopping this up. All right, so I'm going to turn the heat on our cast iron skillet to just a little under medium. I'm going to add about a tablespoon of olive oil. Let's go ahead and put our eggplant in there. I'm just going to stir this around enough to get the eggplant coated with the olive oil so it doesn't stick. And then the next thing I'm going to add is our onions and our garlic. So we have 2 cloves of garlic, finely minced. And we have half a cup of chopped white onions. You could use red, but I had a white one on hand, so that's what we're using today. Turn that up a little bit. We're going to put it on medium heat. So we're going to lightly cook that. So instead of using panko breadcrumbs, I'm actually using some finely ground coconut, and this is unsweetened, just regular coconut. And I'm going to put in a ½ teaspoon of olive oil and a pinch of salt. So we'll just call this a pinch of salt. Just go ahead and stir this a little bit. And I'm going to go ahead and add this in with our eggplant mix. And mix this in. So I also have a ½ cup of marinara or tomato sauce I had canned and I let cook down to make it really thick. I have 3/4 cup of shredded mozzarella and I have a 1/4 cup of shredded parmesan. And I have about 1/8 cup of fresh chopped basil. This is the purple Ruffles basil. I think any Italian basil would be really good. And I'm actually going to add some of this into our eggplant mixture. And I'm going to leave just a very small amount of it for garnish. Let's add a 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper. And a ½ teaspoon of our Redmond sea salt. I'm just going to turn this down to a low temperature. Let it cook just a little bit longer. We have about 10 more minutes left on our eggplant shells. All right, we have about 8 minutes left for our shells to bake. Let's go ahead and remove our eggplant mixture from the heat and combine in our other ingredients. So I'm shutting this off. I'm scooping the eggplant out into another dish, only because I'm using cast iron and I really don't want to put the marinara sauce in the cast iron. The reason you don't want to put the marinara sauce or the tomato product in your cast iron skillet is it tends to leach out a lot of iron into your food. So now we're going to go ahead and mix in our marinara sauce. It's a ½ cup. And we are going to combine in our 3/4 cups of mozzarella. So our stuffing is ready. Let's take a look and see how our shells are doing. Oh, these look like they're about ready. All right. Let's get another pot holder here. We'll shut that off. Now we're ready to go ahead and add our filling into our eggplant shells. These little ones are going to be kind of like appetizers. don't burn yourself because this glass is very hot. Now let's fill the bigger ones. Growing up in Alaska, we really didn't eat a lot of eggplant. It wasn't something that was available regularly. But my husband's Italian, and in his family, eggplant was something they ate all the time. So it's been a lot of fun learning different ways to prepare eggplant, especially since it grows here so easily. And I will be sure to include written directions on how to make this dish in the description of the video. We're going to sprinkle a little bit of our parmesan on now. There we go. And let's add some of our basil. This basil really is wonderful. Some garnish. We've already added some into the stuffing. Now we're just adding a little bit onto the top. I don't want to waste it because this is some wonderful stuff here. Get it all on. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put our smaller sampler back in, and the larger dish of eggplant, I actually want to freeze that and save it for another meal. So I'm going to let this cool off, and that will keep for about 6 months in the freezer. But we're going to go ahead and put this dish in. You can see kind of what they look like before they go in. I'm going to put this in to bake. Now you could broil it, that's an option, but I'm going to go ahead and put them in our little oven at 400 for about 15 minutes. Okay, our timer hasn't gone off yet, but these are looking like they're about ready. Let's go ahead and get this oven opened and let's check it out. However you choose to cook these, you want to let the cheese get a little bubbly and a little toasted on top. And remember, this is very hot, so let's go ahead and let's get one here so you can see it. Let's go ahead and put it on our plate. And I think since Mr. Painter is the Italian in the family, we're going to call him over here to sample this for us. So I have a knife and a fork for him, and let's see how I'm going to angle this camera. Come on over here.
Mr. Painter, the Italian, is here.
All right, let's turn this over.
All righty, Mr. Painter, the Italian, is here to try this yummy looking eggplant. Let's give it a go. Here we go.
It's hot now, don't burn yourself.
Yeah. Mr. Painter has to be very careful here. But he's going to take a nice yummy bite.
What do you say?
I say yummy.
Okay. Wow.
Yummy eggplant. Can I finish?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Please do.
I will finish the eggplant.
Thanks for watching.